Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, as always, is Ben.
I can't wait to see how peaked that intro is. That was a loud one.
Yeah. It's fine.
So the best laid plans of mice and men oft go awry.
Best laid plans of mice and Ben.
Yeah. This is a Halloween episode.
Hooray!
Yeah. You may notice that it's not, in fact, Halloween. But
No. It's after Halloween, Ben.
yeah,
What
it's
happened?
it's such a rough holiday to miss. There's no leeway. You instantly into November, and then everybody's talking turkey and thinking Christmas, depending on who you are, I suppose. But like,
Yeah. I was
there's
seeing
not
Christmas
even-
stuff around before Halloween happened, and I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it. I hate it. Respect the sanctity of holidays, god damn it.
Yeah.
Put your Christmas stuff like after Thanksgiving, but fuck. Before Halloween? Fuck.
I just see my like even worse than the Christmas decorations for me is how Black Friday keeps like creeping further or like creeping earlier into November. Like it's gross. Especially because it's Thanksgiving. Like it's just so gross.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway,
But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about two movies.
2 movies that complement each other so nicely.
Not at all, but what we did is Ben picked a movie and I picked a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two movies. And surprisingly, Ben picked the older movie.
Yeah, go figure.
So it goes.
I definitely also
Got him hooked on the flavor of oldness.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean a little bit. I'm certainly more open to it now. Though not surprisingly, I also picked the vastly more cereal-friendly movie. Ugh.
What are you talking about? There's plenty of eating in Little Otik. Cereal is definitely a thing they would
that's
eat.
a good point to start off on. So, Little Otik. It's such a cursed film. It's so cursed on so many levels. Like, it's fucking hard to like pick a place to start. But yeah, why not? Like, we could talk about the egregious amount of close-up shots of people eating and food moving when it shouldn't move, and noises. Like. On paper, it seems like you should be able to enjoy like a bowl of Frosted Flakes during it, but no. There's no way. There's no way. There's way too many, like, it's just so gross. They took food and they turned it into something horrible.
Well, it wasn't meat. There was no meat in their food. So it was sad times.
Gross.
It's just eating. It's fine.
And then the one time the dude is eating something, it's like a little bit cereally, and there's like the vision or whatever of like nails in the bowl. Like, that's cursed. I don't like that.
The stop motion. Oh, you didn't like just imagining there are nails in your food?
Now I'm gonna have to
swimming
check
around?
next time. Like, there shouldn't be nails in this bowl, but fuck, maybe when I turn my back to grab a glass of water, like, someone put them in.
Maybe they just spontaneously generated.
Yeah, that you gotta check. Now I have to check. It's gonna be an extra minute of my life every time I have a bowl of cereal. Can't get that back.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Ugh.
So yeah, Little Otik is a Chechnyan movie directed by Jan Švankmajer, who's
Problems.
honestly, this is like the most mainstream of his movies, from what I understand. He's mostly into surreal experimental films.
Sure.
So this is like him, more conventional. There's like a plot to this movie. Mm-hmm. He also he directed a version of Alice in Wonderland that was on Netflix for a while. So if you want your Alice in Wonderland with more rusted nails, I got the movie for you.
Are they in
and close up of mouths?
Are they in or out of a bowl of milk?
I don't think they're in a bowl of milk, but that could happen. I don't remember. There's a point where okay, so the white rabbit at the beginning. So that's like a taxidermied rabbit that empties out all the sand, like all the stuff inside it first, and then gets dressed and literally pulls his watch out from inside himself to look at it.
Great,
because he has this hole in his belly.
That's
let all the stuff out. Good times.
Yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, so this movie is about, we have a couple who they can't have a baby. They're unable to conceive, and it upsets them greatly. So then they decide to fake it. And the woman, she's got all her little pillows for all the months of being pregnant.
Okay, no, I think you're skewing things a little bit here.
Ah, okay.
The dude, that dude, just was like, Stump looks like. Wait. Which part?
No, that's later, Ben.
That's later. You're talking. Okay, I was jumping
later.
I was jumping ahead. I was jumping ahead to the other.
Accusing me of jumping ahead, and then you're like,
that's what
no,
I do.
they first they go through full term pregnancy. Through full term pregnancy. Then they go away to a cabin, and I don't know what their fucking plan is for when they get back with no baby, but that's their plan. So they go out to the cabin, and then while they're there, dude is working out in the backyard and trying to take the stump out, and it's very birth-like.
It has vague baby features. Yes.
The stump. He sees a baby within the image of the stump, and he carves out off some stuff so that it looks more baby-like. And then he gives it to his wife, who is immediately taken to it.
And the viewer
starts dressing it up.
Is treated like So then
he goes out. He goes out to do something else. He's like, in his head, I give my wife this fake baby. It'll make her happy. It's fine. And he comes home, and the tree stump has come alive and is suckling at his wife's teat.
So there's the whole little sequence where you get to see the light in that guy's eyes just die. He gives her the thing. And then we're treated to the worst sequence I've ever seen in a film. We didn't need any of those shots. That's the other part. That's one of the cursed levels of this film. Is there anything inherently wrong with showing what they showed? No. Do I think they should have done that? Also, no. Never. I don't like it. It was not needed. At all.
It's horror, Ben.
Yeah, but
horror.
It's and then she immediately, he hands it to her, she immediately is like, get the blanket, what are you waiting for, get the blanket. And he's just the in this scene, you can just see him, his face just fuck. I just want to do a nice thing, and I have made a terrible mistake.
This is my life now.
Yeah, no, it got too real too quickly for him.
I'm now the father of a tree stump.
Yep, no, he fucked up.
Yeah, so they, bring little Otik home. They sort of, bundle him up so no one else gets to look at him when they bring him. Like their neighbors want to check it out, and they're like, "No, you can't look at him."
Well, this is where I was like jumping to with the, they like redo the fake pregnancy thing, right?
Oh, is that maybe that is how it goes.
Unbelievable.
Maybe that is.
Hank, did you watch the movie?
Sorry, I didn't have time to rewatch it for this viewing. I've watched this movie a lot of times, Ben. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of times, so I remember most of it.
He's watched it once, 10 years ago. No, yeah. Then they, I know, certainly they faked it like after buying the place, because it comes out like, well, she gets impatient. It's like, and I think there's a discrepancy between either the translation, the film, and or like the Wikipedia summary. On Wikipedia, it talks about them like she gets impatient and she just like, yo, it's a month early, like let's do this. And people are suspicious, but like I think they fucked up on Wikipedia maybe, because like I was a month early, bro. Like it's not the end of the world. But in the translation of the subtitles, it was like month 4. Like she got impatient, like faking it, and like 4 months deep, let's go. He's just a little preemie baby. It's fine. And they're like, no, like that's not how it works. Like, no. Like we must have got the count wrong on the months. Like it's just
Yeah, she sews all these pillows, one for each month, and then to hide under her belly, and then which is weird to like literally hiding this tiny pillow. It's like, yeah, I'm a month pregnant. I got this little bulge.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, she gives up. She can't take it because the plan for the faking the pregnancy thing is to so that they can bring Otik home.
Yeah.
To their house. And not just have a baby suddenly. Like they stole a baby or something.
Yeah.
But honestly, the doing it early thing then plays into them like being able to say, no, you can't look at him. He has to be covered because he's born premature or whatever.
Yeah. And like she just like, she wanted to take it like out and about, and like you can't just fucking show up with a baby.
You can't just show up with a tree monstrosity.
I mean, like,
also
before it came alive, it would have been like weird, but fine. Yeah, after it comes alive, no. Well, I mean, it would have been better for everyone.
So also when it's like time for her when they decide like, oh, we're going out to this cabin to give birth to the thing so that we can bring it home, that's when like she goes through like a fake but real pregnancy. She like does all the things.
Yeah.
And I think it's only after that Otik actually comes alive, if I remember.
Yes.
Correctly.
Yeah. Like her, that's like that, him like suckling on her is like after she gives birth or like decides to quit pretending or whatever. And the guy walks in and there's like that fucking gross ass shot of like the little mouth like pulsating and wiggling and shit. Like it's just terrible.
So one of my favorite things about Little Otik is that his mouth and his eye are the same hole.
Yeah.
Like it's just this one little tree like outgrowth.
Yeah.
That's where where he eats and also where his eye is. And he has like a human eye and like real teeth.
Yeah. It's real bad. Like on paper, this movie is very serial friendly. Like it's not. Nothing about it is like inherently disturbing, but then you put it all together and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, inherently it's just like Little Shop of Horrors. But with
when he's like
a baby
licking his mouth with a gross tongue, and then the tongue retreats and the eye pops in, that's no good. That's no good at all.
It's so good, and it's all stop motion. By the way, in case someone didn't know.
Yeah. It's all.
So it has that extra creepy
like
unreality to
unsettling.
it. Yeah.
And see, this is coming from someone who, before watching this, recently rewatched The Matrix, and I'm looking like when Neo is getting unplugged and shit, like he wakes up for the first time, like. I hadn't seen this movie in a while. Last time I did, no problem. I've become a way bigger pussy since then. So I'm like, this is a little, like it's fine, but I'm a little uncomfortable. And then we come to this shit. Like, you know what? I accepted my fate and it still wasn't good enough.
So yeah. The other thing they find out is like Otik starts eating her hair.
Yeah, that's just like because he's he's a hungry boy, right? So
yeah,
she's like leaning over him, and he just
grabs her hair and she acts to cut her hair off. So now she has short hair.
Yeah, and that's
like, I like short hair better.
Yeah, she's like, Little Otik was right. I could use a change, and she just like hacks all of her hair off like right then and there.
Yeah, it's the first sign that the Nightmare Baby, something might be wrong. Something might be bad about this. Yeah. Other than the plain horror of and then he won't eat food. And it turns out the thing he likes is human blood and flesh.
Oh, but first, he goes full. Okay. What is it, elf? He eats the cat. Like they come home and there's like a cat skeleton, but with like muscle tissue still on it and shit. And it's not really necessary, but there it was.
It's the thing he does.
Yeah.
So then, as the movie goes on, like the buildup is like they're a poor couple, but like then they're just spending all their money buying like pounds of meat for him to eat.
Yeah,
is where this is going. Good times. So, yeah, so they bring him home, and then that cycle starts where they're just like having to feed him more and more. Meat. And then the other
you're getting there.
So then the other way the movie fills up is their neighbors who live in the same building, this couple with their daughter, and the daughter who's like interested in Otik because like there's another kid in this building,
and she's also fairly suspicious. Like she's the one who picks up immediately. Like 4 months, you say?
She's like something fucking weird is going on. So, curiosity and whatnot. Also, there's an old guy in the building who's a pervert.
Shots were also unnecessary.
There is a shot. So he can't really see, but then he sees the little girl, so he gets all excited and puts on his glasses because he's a fucking piece of garbage. And then we get a stop motion thing of his pants unzipping and a hand coming out as she like looks at him, and it's like imagine like his pervert, like she could sense it, and that's like the way the movie shows it. It's like stop motion unbuttoning of pants, and then like a human hand pops out.
And again, like I didn't need the like him like licking his lips, and it's like just such a long shot every fucking time. Like preceded by an upskirt shot of this like kid. It's not needed. I don't. Very unsettling.
I mean, it's supposed to be, Ben.
Yeah, but
It's not supposed to be okay. It's supposed to upset you.
Gonna watch Downton Abbey later. It's a nice show.
Only nice things.
Yeah, so we got old pedophile dude.
Yeah.
At some point she like reads the book, right? Or there's like because there's all like there's a lot of animated like storybook segments of like the original fairy tale, which what does it say? What is it?
Yes, this is Otasanak, yeah. Or Greedy. I guess Greedy Guts is another name for the movie. Because I think in Czech the movie is also just called Otasanak. And yeah, so she reads this book that is like the fairy tale that this movie is based on, of this couple who gets a tree, starts raising a tree stump that then comes alive and starts eating anything, and it's kind of like, there's some like camp song about a fat cat or something that has the same progression where it's like he keeps encountering things and then eating them and just getting larger and larger. It's like like yum yum yum, that looks very tasty. Oh, and he gobbled it right up, like something like that. It's like how that the American version I'm familiar with is like a similar kind of story.
Yeah.
But the end of that is that he then meets an old woman with a cabbage patch, and he eats all the cabbages, and the old woman gets mad and cuts him open, and everything flies out. And in this apartment building, there happens to be an old woman with a cabbage patch.
Yeah, with cabbages.
Garden. Yes.
Also, the fact that when he keeps getting like bigger and bigger, and they still just use like the baby sounds for him. Like,
he's still a baby.
That's like, I mean, it's unsettling, but I would call that like good unsettling. Like, it's a nice touch sort of deal.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't like, oh no, this is terrible. I can't stand it.
Like, to me, the peak is like so nobody gets to see this baby, so they're all worried. And they call social services, gets notified. And the social services lady comes in, and they like let her in the room with Otik, and then shut the door, and you just see this giant Otik.
No, they don't let her in. They're like the wife is like, don't go in there, and she's like, no, I need to check on this child. And then the wife's just like crying because Otik's about to eat a person. Yeah, that's just a big old splat. Yeah, definitely like, a big splat against the door.
Yeah. But Otik, like, comes in from stage right and, like, bowls her. It's just like he's so fucking big since the last time we've seen him. Also, there's a great shot of, like, in his room with all, like, the bones and meat hanging off them.
Yeah.
All the, like, licked over. Just skeletons everywhere. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's
so then they after he eats a person, they decide they have to lock him in the basement. They like lock him in a chest in the basement, and that's when this movie becomes more about the little girl who then starts feeding him. And she like draws straws for who she's gonna feed to him.
Yeah. Well, and she starts eating it, like, quote unquote, eating a shitload of food, and is like swiping it from her parents, and then, like, well, it's not enough. Who am I gonna fucking punt?
Yeah. She starts just trying to steal regular food for her.
Yeah, because that's where a bunch of the stupid close-up things come from, is like her dad eating.
Yeah. He's just hungry, man. He works hard, and he doesn't get to eat any meat. It's just fucking soup or pancakes. No fucking meat. These people upstairs, they got pounds and pounds of meat, and he doesn't get any.
Just eat some potatoes. It's like, I've also been cutting back on meat. Potatoes are nice and filling and tasty.
They're not meat, Ben.
Whatever. He's being a little baby. No, stop that shit. It's gonna haunt my
That's cursed.
fucking dreams.
Cursed.
Yeah, too much fucking. The movie might as well be called like Slurps the Film. So much like disgusting sounds to accompany the close-ups of food.
The true horror. Human beings eating.
But yeah, so girl in another like, I mean, I guess it's like a satisfying scene in a way, because now like the pedophile gets fucked. Like, she decides to lure him in the basement, and she's all like, "Come here," and she has like her fucking skirt on or whatever, and the guy's like, and he's like putting on his glasses again, and then like he gets eaten
By Jan Otik.
Yeah,
Otik is very big at this point.
Yeah, he is a large lad.
He's a large baby.
Yeah. And finally, the dad, like the original couple, that guy, the husband, I suppose, he gets fed up with all of this. Finally, like after way too long tolerating any of this shit, and finally like rolls on down to the basement with a chainsaw, bitches out at like the last second, and then like as Otik is grabbing
he's
him,
like
he's like, "Son," and then fucking
it's pretty good.
big.
So like, and the other thing, like the reason the girl is like adamant about keeping him fed is because she's read the story. So she knows that when Otik gets too hungry, he's going to go eat those cabbages, and then he's going to die. And she doesn't want that. And that's what happens. That's how the story ends. Is Otik eventually eats the cabbages, and then the movie kind of just ends because we know the old woman's gonna
like
kill him.
She's
not a bitch.
Otik eats his mom. I think that's off screen. Like she rolls down and just like, and then it's like
yeah.
Yeah, no, it just ends. My torrent had like a shitload of time left when the credits started. Like I was buckling up for literally like another 40 minutes. And the credits started rolling, and I'm like, there's no way in hell. I didn't stop to see what it was. Like I didn't look at it, but there's like a black and white thing after the credits, like a short film or something. No idea what that's about. I wonder if
it might have been one of his shorts. I don't know.
Probably.
Because he did a bunch of like stop motion short films also.
I don't know. It was something. Yeah.
So I'll also say, like, I discovered this movie when me and my dad rented it at our local video store. Like, a Hollywood Video. That is how I found this movie. It would have probably been like 2001. So, like, 14?
All right.
Something like that.
I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna say like, yeah, we stumbled onto this when I was like 8, or some shit.
Not that young. Yeah, it was just there was a foreign film section of our video store, and picked this one out because we'd watched everything else and had a great time. Really enjoyed it. I love this movie.
It's something.
Can't say it's like a lot of other movies.
Yeah, no, it had. I don't even know. Already.
I really like the storybook stuff where there's a character in the movie who's like read the story, so knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I like that structure a lot.
I think that the dad also like realizes after a certain point, because he calls Otik like the full term for like the creature, and the wife is like, "Don't call him that," even though like clearly it's what he is. Like,
yeah, it's like you were raising a werewolf.
Well, finally, I can throw this review up on Letterboxd, but I'll give you a little spoiler here. 0 out of fucking 10. If you translate the original tagline for this film, it says, "Do you hate cereal? Come watch our movie." Yeah, can't recommend. Can't recommend. At no point in this film should you be having a bowl of cereal. Yeah. So,
it's fine.
I mean, translated to an actual review, it's probably like a 10 out of 10 then, because gotta invert the numbers and do a little bit of math, so, you know.
Yeah. So, that's my movie. Ben, what movie did you pick?
I picked The Masque of the Red Death, 1964, forget the director, starring Vincent
Roger
Price.
Corman.
Yeah, him.
Famous schlock filmmaker. He's directed way too many movies to count. Like, just a shit. He was very prolific. And he directed movies kind of based on, like, all the Poe. Like, a shit ton of stuff based on, in heavy quotes, based on Poe stuff. My favorite is his version of The Raven. Well, not my favorite. I don't actually like the movie. But his version of The Raven involves wizard duels. It's all about wizard duels.
That's great. Did not know that.
So, honestly, this is one of the more faithful adaptations he did, because some of them are like just have actually nothing to do with the story.
Yeah,
there's like a raven statue at the beginning of that movie, or maybe an actual raven in a cage at the very beginning.
Yeah, this one is pretty faithful to Masque of the Red Death, and then they incorporate like a little subplot for Hop Frog, which I'd never read in my life, so it was fine. Yeah, a lot more cereal friendly. Feel like
it's just satanic rituals and people bleeding out over their whole bodies.
Yeah, no, it's more cereal friendly, but it's not like not all the way there.
It doesn't have stop motion horror. So
yeah,
and people eating. So
yeah, where did start? I mean, like, yeah, we got there's. Okay, so first scene is like old lady walking along, and there's like this red figure under a tree, like shuffling cards, and gives her a white flower. It turns red. He's like, "Yo, go tell the village," and
he bleeds on it, so it turns red.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Here, this is your deliverance."
Yeah, and she is totally unfazed by this. And
she is stoked.
Yeah,
she's not just unfazed. She's like very happy.
Yeah, she like goes to the village and she, like very unquestioning of what just happened. Yeah, and then Prince Prospero shows up, and he's like
played by Vincent Price.
Yeah, it's great. Like
Vincent Price is so good.
It's good shit, dude. Yeah, and he's like, you know, villagers versus nobility. That shtick. Nothing too unusual. But one of the villagers is a hottie, and he's like, "Yo, you're okay though. You want to live in a castle?"
The villagers are getting uppity because they've been told their deliverance is at hand.
He's like, "I'll deliver you."
Yeah, fuck you. And he's like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna have to cut your heads off."
Yeah.
And then the girl's like, "No, don't.
My father and my lover, or the one whom I love." Sorry.
Well, she only tells him that after he's like, "All right, fine. You get to pick which one dies."
Right.
One of them has to die.
Our intro to that.
It's Tim or it's this other guy. And then she's like, "No, but that's my father and my lover." And he's like, "Well, you still got to pick.
Yeah.
Choose one." But then he gets called away to look at something, and we find that the old woman is like now covered in red spots.
Like bleeding
blood
from
everywhere.
her pores.
Her skins. Yes. She has the Red Death. And he's like, all right, let's get out of here. Burn the village to the ground.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah.
And he takes the three of them with him so that he can finish his game later.
Yeah.
He takes a to-go bag of peasants.
Yeah. Finish these, maybe to borrow some wine.
Yeah, and he pushes up his party he was gonna have like in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and he's like he tells like all of the nobility like send word to go around this former village, maybe. No good anymore.
Come here immediately.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't say like the Red Death is upon us. He's like, no, just come here and hurry up and don't go to that village.
Yeah. The first this movie is like pretty trippy overall, I guess. Like a little bit surreal, you know? And like the first entertainment were shown like I guess the next day or that night or something. And my timeline is getting a little confused, but we have a pair of dwarf dancers, and I hated this because they had like an actual what's the politically correct term? Like little person? Dwarf?
I think little person.
They had an actual like little person, like a person with dwarf.
That used to be the politically correct
Person
term,
with
at least. I don't know if
dwarfism.
they've updated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good enough.
Well, the dude has dwarfism.
Yeah.
The girl is just
The girl
small.
is just a kid. And later in the film,
overdubbed with the lady.
Later in the film they have her talk, and it's like just overdubbed with an adult woman's voice, and it's so like bad. I don't know. It didn't work for me. Especially because like all the dudes are like hitting on it, like, where did you find this toy? What did you like to know?
That happens.
Yeah.
That guy gets burned alive though, so
Yeah. Yeah. Later. That's the Hop Frog story. The dwarf like tricks this other asshole into wearing a gorilla costume and then like lights him on fire. Prospero's like so amusing.
That was great.
Fantastic.
What good entertainment.
Go take 5 gold pieces. You've earned it. I like the addition in the film version. Prince Prospero is a Satanist. I like that inclusion. Like I like how it plays with everything. So this whole time, like in the as people might remember from high school, Masque of the Red Death is the one with all the different colored rooms, and your English teacher is like, "What do the colors mean?" And all the students are like, "Fuck, he wanted like some variety. I don't know." No. So yeah, he's laying in the black room like Dracula style in a trance, and yeah,
He's got his little Satan shrine.
yeah, gargoyles and all that shit.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Juliana,
And as he explains it, the reason he's interested in this girl is because her faith. I mean, other than that she's hot, her faith is as strong as his, except in the opposite way.
she's
to like turn her.
Yeah, she's a good Christian girl.
Yeah.
He has. Is his wife? Is it his wife or like his?
It's just another.
Just the
woman who's serving him, he's like his top,
his bottom bitch, if you will. Juliana, she like wants to be part of this.
You get the sense that like she's been
here for a while.
Only going, there for a while, like comfortable in her. She's gotten like comfortable in her station, and now that she feels threatened, she's like wants to go farther with the Satanism stuff than she was before. And he like, Prospero's like, yeah, you only want to do this because there's someone else. Like, I don't actually believe you that you believe in this stuff. So it like makes him like her less.
Mm-hmm.
And she's being like more and more subservient and trying to get more into the Satan stuff, become Satan's bride.
Yeah,
whatever.
Which is great later. Meanwhile, the boys are learning how to fight so that they can do this whole gladiatorial combat thing. But it doesn't go great.
But then they point out that like we're not gonna fucking just because we can fight doesn't mean we're gonna kill each other.
Yeah.
And then Prospero's like, dang, you're right. Shoot.
Yeah.
Guess I'll have to come up with something else. It's like, that was easy. Got out of that one.
You've given me something to think on. He like leaves. Fuck.
Damn. Like, battle to death won't work if they won't battle to the death.
This hasn't happened before. In all of the gladiator fights I've hosted, no one's just refused. Instead, he ends up like, well, you know, classic scenario. Like he's having his meal, all the people are around, like having a good time, and the guys have to like take turns cutting their forearms.
No, look, you're just at a dinner party and someone starts throwing knives onto the table.
And
then he brings out.
I was highly surprised. Normally, like John Wick 2 or like Constantine style like wrist cutting scenes. Absolutely, that might actually be like number one, possibly tied with like Breaking Bad style like throat slitting shit. Can't do it. Absolute, like I will full on look away. And if they're getting a little too fun with sounds, I'll also like cover my ears a little bit. Like I can't deal. I actually can't. This was fine. Like I think because like it's old enough.
They're not cutting their wrists.
Yeah.
Also, one of them you never see him cut himself. The younger guy.
Yeah.
Never. The older guy, it's just he's like serious about it, but he's cutting like the other side of his arm.
Yeah. It's like enough. There's like enough.
It's like he's got a marker and he's drawing
it's
a little
like
tip
it's very
on his thing.
it's like very thin, and there's not like you know, because it's older film as well. Like they're not gonna show like the blood pooling out. So I was like, okay, like this is fine.
Yeah, and I mean it
was a relief.
The blades are tipped in poison that'll kill you in 5 seconds. So
inconceivable.
So it doesn't need to be. It's not really about cutting yourself. It's about getting that poison in your blood. But it just doesn't seem that entertaining. I don't know. It's not a great game.
Yeah.
You had all this time to come up with a game.
No, we didn't have that much time because no one's ever said no before.
That's true. I'm just saying, it's like not... Even his thing of like making all the rich people pretend to be animals was more fun.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was pretty early on as well, wasn't it? Or was that after this?
Yeah. I think that's before. Because that's just like him showing off like how fucking... powerful he is.
Yeah, like Peasant Girl is by him, and like there's some noble, and he's like, "Oh, you like to eat and drink like a pig. You're a pig now."
B1.
Yeah. And the guy starts like going. He gets out on all fours, and he's like honking around.
Yeah, and then he like picks on people who are like laughing the loudest.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you're laughing a lot.
You're a donkey. Hey, you ride the donkey. And then, like, everybody use your imaginations. And, like, 18 people, like, just chose chickens. Lots of arm flapping immediately after that. 2 guys, like, look like they're airplanes. They're just, they just got their arms out. That was good shit.
Yeah. Because he's told them about the Red Death at this point, so they're at his mercy.
Yeah.
Also, there's one dude who shows up late.
Oh,
he's begging Prospero to let him in.
What a good fucking scene. Like, I'll do anything. Please let me in, please. I'll do anything. You can sleep with my wife. I've already had the pleasure. If you could call
Also,
it that.
she looks so happy. She's like, yeah, he fucked me. Yeah. It's like, you're gonna die too. What are you?
Yeah. And then he just like pop.
He's like, please spare me from the Red Death. And he's like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Give me that crossbow.
yeah. Just plugs one through him. That was a good bit. Which part's next? Honestly, like, despite the fact that I just watched this, I'd have to rely on Wikipedia for the for like the order thing.
So the other woman who's now undergone goes under a Satanist ritual. She like brands herself and has a vision.
Right.
And she's like, yo, I'm Satan's bride now. I've sold my soul.
Yeah. She has like that giant hallucination sequence where like people from different eras in time are like stabbing her, and there's like a bit of mimed fornication going on.
Yeah. And she has an inverted cross. Like she brands herself with it on her boob.
Yeah. Only way.
But then she's still like, I'm perfect. Everything's great. I have to get rid of this other girl still. She's too much of a threat. I just don't want her around. So she lets her go and like tells her how to break out the dudes. So
also Juliana
goes down.
Wait.
Yep.
Okay. No, never mind. Go on. I got it.
Yeah, so she runs down to the dungeon to free her dad and her boyfriend, and they kill a bunch of guards on their way out. I think they killed 3 guards. And then they're running around, and then they get to like the roof of the castle to jump out, and then the last guard who's guarding the way turns out to be Vincent Price. Prospero. He's like, yeah, no. Good try.
Yeah. So he gets run through.
Yeah.
Young guy, the lover, he's like, fine, go. Like, enjoy the Red Death.
Yep. Well, no. This happens, I guess, before the knife thing, because isn't the knife thing actually when the dad dies? And then he gets released. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so after the knife... Yeah. After the knife thing, Prospero just releases the dude.
Yeah.
And the girl's... First she's like, let me go with him. And then make him stay. Don't let him leave. Like, she's all mixed up in what she wants. Because it's like, it goes so quickly from like, oh, we could escape together, but also there's the Red Death outside, so going out is death sentence. So no, don't bring him back inside, please. I'll do anything. He's got her twisted in knots.
Yeah.
So the dude gets thrown out, and then he goes to find the people from his village, and they're all like, yeah, we're going to Prospero's castle to beg him to let us in, because it sucks out here. And he's like, no, you can't beg to him. And they're like, dude, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Red Death is bad. So they go back to Prospero's castle, and that dude is just like, this is a dumb plan. Grr.
It's important to note that Juliana dies via falcon.
Yeah. She, like, after she performs the final part of her ritual or whatever.
Yeah.
She like walks out into the main hall, and then fucking birds tear her apart.
Yeah.
I forget what Prospero says about it.
I mean,
like she just married a friend of mine.
No, like she's truly married to Satan. Something like, because she said like,
he says a friend of mine.
Is it a friend of mine?
I think he says a friend. Yeah.
I just know that like she was all like, oh, like I'm the wife of Satan now, and then she dies, and he's like, yeah, you are.
Sure are.
You did it. Yeah. And the villagers come to the castle. You know, great plan. And Prospero's like, yep. That's cool. You should go away. And they're like, no, we don't want to go away. And they're like, well, if you don't help us, we will die. And he's like, you're half correct. And he killed them. And again with crossbows, but this time he like spared a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like never explained. I think.
No. You just that little girl, she gets to live.
Yeah. And one of the archers is like, the Red Death is just gonna kill her. He's like, spare her. I'm like, fuck, fine.
It's like Vincent Price is like, I don't want my character to kill a child.
Probably. Then
I'll be a Satanist, but there are limits. I don't want to be an asshole.
Yeah. Then the bit happens that we already talked about, where the dwarf guy like burns alive Prospero's bud. Do you happen to know the name of that actor?
No.
Patrick McGee? Maggie? He looks super familiar.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know.
Okay. He just looked really like I felt like I had recognized him.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a thing. And then yeah, after Prospero is like, "Oh my god, that was so entertaining, amazing. Take some gold." And instead, Hop Toad is like, "I'd rather just leave," and he dips.
Yeah. This girl.
Yeah. And then we're treated to like the beginning, like my favorite sequence of this. Gino, the lover boy, comes, or he's like he wants
he
to
ties a rope to a stick. Well, I guess he finds the Red Death guy.
Yeah. And the dude's like, "Don't go in the castle. She'll be out shortly." And that's when we get like, okay, well, so
first they meet in the woods and talk, and then Gino like sneaks into the castle. He like ties a rope to a big stick.
Yeah.
and catches it on the buttresses, and then climbs up, and then the Masque guy is up there, and he's like, "Just wait here. She'll be out in a bit.
Yeah.
I got some people to murder."
And it's important to know that for the masquerade, Vincent Price is like, "Yo, the entire wardrobe in the castle is open to everybody. Pick a costume, pick a mask or whatever. No red. If I see red, there's going to be red running onto the floor from the crossbow wounds. Don't wear
Very
red."
gauche to wear red.
Yeah. So then he sees this mysterious figure wearing red. And, of course, like, drags along Francesca, peasant girl, to see who this bastard is who so openly defies his one order. And they're running through like all the different rooms until they get to the black room. And we get the sequence where he's like trying to figure out who it is, and he's like, "You're not this dude." Nope. nope, that's not who I am. Like, shit. My liege.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he's like, you must be Satan.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. And he's like forcing Francesca like on her knees and stuff, and he's like,
Yeah, but he doesn't get on his knees.
yeah, he doesn't do shit. And he like wants to see the guy's face, and whereas the Red Death is like, nah, nobody gets to see the face of death until they die. Yeah. And then
Masque goes around the party, and there's this visual effect where he'll like raise his cloak, blocking the camera for these people, and then bring it down, and now they're all red.
Yeah, like the old woman in the beginning, like bloody and
Yeah.
shit. Real great. And it turns into like the dance, dance macabre?
Dance of death. Yeah. He tells them all to dance.
Yeah. So
After
music
he
changes.
gets them all.
Yeah.
And Vincent Price is all stoked. He's like, see, I gave you all my friends for you to kill.
Yeah, berserk
great?
style. Make me a prince of hell. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I'm not a servant of Satan. Death doesn't serve anybody, bitch.
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
not Satan. You backed the wrong god.
Yeah. So then Prospero like rips off his mask, and it's Prospero's face. He's all bloody.
Yeah.
So now it's, he's seen the face of death. It's his own death, and he dies.
He dies. Francesca escapes. And then we get a little epilogue scene where we get to meet the rainbow death. All the different colors of death.
Yeah. Which, like...
It's like, there's not just red death. There's a yellow death. There's a pink death. There's a black death.
It's just, like, weird as hell. Because, like, from, like, some of them, right? Like, black death, like, yellow death, those are the only two. Those, like, yellow fever and, like, bubonic plague or whatever. But it's just interesting, like...
I mean, it's much more about the visual than it is actual meaning.
Yeah, but, like,
think.
they all have, like, on the Wikipedia article, each one links to a specific thing.
That's fair.
And I just never...
That's not really in the movie.
No, not at all. It's just a dude in a purple fucking robe.
Yeah.
Like, there's no...
And they're meeting up to swap stories about the death they've caused. And, like, then they march in their little parade.
The
marching
one,
line.
I forget which one it was, but one of them definitely had everybody beat. Like, you killed, like, 10,000 people or something, or, like, 100,000. It was, like, an absurdly high number, and everyone else is like, well, I walked through a village. And then, like, it just...
Yeah.
I felt like that kind
Like,
of
Red Death,
away.
like... Red Death, not the most impressive death,
Yeah, he's like... He comes
out.
out, he's like, I killed many. This fucker not actually giving them the number so nobody knows how pity his...
And he's like, I spared these 5 people or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? Why?
Yeah.
Slacker.
They
Slacker.
end with a nice little Latin phrase, sic transit gloria mundi, thus passes the glory of the world. I'll shuffle off.
Also, the Rainbow Death reminds me of, like, in DC Comics when they're like, yeah, we've got a Green Lantern and a Yellow Lantern.
Yeah,
What
you
if there
gotta-
were other colors?
Yeah.
It's like that kind of thinking. But yeah, that's Masque of the Red Death by Roger Corman, starring Vincent Price. It's good. It's a solid, fluent film.
I did, yeah. I really like the whole thing. The reason why I stumbled or like found this film was there is a little doom metal project, and for a demo tape they have a song is made, like, it's a bit of a strong term for what it is. Very like slow guitars and shit, and it's overlaid on top of the scene starting where Prince Prospero like confronts the Red Death, like where he's like, "Who are you?" And there's like a bunch of like they put a little extra reverb on, and honestly, I think that music fits the scene so much better. Like it makes it real dark. But yeah, I saw that and I'm like, this like sequence, like just even visually is fucking great, and I want to see the whole thing. And I think it held up. Like it's a good movie.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's like, yeah, I guess Roger Corman has said Masque of the Red Death and Fall of the House of Usher were the two of his Poe movies that he thought held up the best.
What, like, did we watch stuff with Vincent Price in it? Or am I just knowing him because he's that iconic?
I think you're just knowing him because he's that iconic. I don't think we've done anything on him. I assume you've seen the Thriller music video.
Yes.
Or he's the narrator.
Right. I mean, that's probably where I'd yeah. I'm not going to say.
You see the Batman TV show where he plays Egghead. He's got an egg-shaped head and makes egg puns and jokes.
I really don't think that's it, but
I have a Lego figure of Egghead.
I mean, it's not it. I don't know where maybe somewhere in the recesses of my mind.
Now I have to send you a picture of Egghead.
Classic. Yeah, this is oh, good lord. Dude's got a 5 head.
Mr. Price is great. He's in a shit ton of movies.
Is he?
I mean, I do have I think I do have a Vincent Price pair of movies on the list of things we could watch at some point. I did.
Okay.
Which is the Dr. Goldfoot movies. Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, and Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs.
Those sound pretty good for reasons.
The second one is fucking crazy.
Go on.
The first one's just real dumb. It just like falls apart at some point. You're just like, what is fucking happening? Because it's like the Italian ripoff sequel, but they got Vincent Price for it also.
Nice.
But then it has like, the worst part is it has like this Italian comedy group trio in it or something.
Okay.
That are just there. I think World War III happens at some point or something, and it goes off the rails, like entirely off the rails at the end. It's just a trip.
Yeah, I'm down. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I'm ever actually going to watch Little Otik again. I think the answer is like probably no.
What if you could show it to someone though?
That's like,
what if you could subject someone else to it?
It's not gonna be on you. That's no good. I don't know. Like, I don't want to. It's not like some of the stuff we've seen where I'm like, yeah, no, this is like a one and done deal. But I'm not like, I don't plan on keeping it like on my hard drive for the next time. But I don't think I'm opposed. Like, yeah, it's a little, for me personally, like it wigs me out a little bit, but Sometimes it's good. It does it without gore, which is important because I'm a little bitch.
It won't show you the Evil Dead remake then.
Basically, I'm just looking.
Because really, the appeal of that is the gore.
Basically, I'm just looking for, like, from a horror perspective. Honestly, my top right now, as much as some people hated it, Bird Box. That vibe in that film, that's what I'm digging. Like, of course, there's like, it's not perfect, but that idea and that sort of execution, it's good shit. That's what I like. I like to be creeped out. I don't want to be like, I don't know, Saw 3 or something.
I mean, Saw 3 is like the worst Saw.
Oh, I just picked one.
Saw 3 is like...
I picked one.
Saw 3 is like Jigsaw sitting in a hospital bed, dying.
I mean, any of them really. Like, I saw
the movie.
I saw the first Saw, and that one was like pretty tame, I think, in comparison to like the others.
And also the best movie.
Yeah, no, I stopped there.
It's like
I'll watch
it's like
one.
a good. Yeah. I think 5 was my second favorite, or something.
Yeah,
I don't even remember anymore. I had them all ranked, but 3 is the worst. 3 is the worst one.
But see, like, some people, I don't know if I know anybody like this personally, I think, but there are definitely some people who are like, yeah, Human Centipede is great horror stuff. Like, nah. Not me.
Evil Dead remake, though. You want to see a girl with her arm stuck under a car, so she has to rip her own arm off. There you go.
Yeah.
Standing in a red dress as it rains blood.
Okay, see,
like
the
my
raining
favorite-
blood
one
stuff,
of my
like,
favorites.
that's okay.
It's very good. It's like one of my favorite
for
shots.
all I know, it's like cranberry juice or something, so I can like justify it in my head. What's the movie? Why the fuck can't I think of it? Obviously it's not 28 Days Later. That's the title that keeps coming to my head. What's the movie where the guy gets his arm caught in a rock and he has to cut it off eventually? It's like 128 hours, 170 hours, something. It's the amount of hours. I don't know why I always maybe it is 128. Either way, like when he's hacking off his arm, that's no good.
Yeah, I didn't watch that movie. 127 hours.
27 is so close. That's why. Basically the same number.
Because it's like you wait for 2 hours and then you're like, you give it 7 minutes before you pull the trigger.
Have you seen the movie Buried?
Or whatever. How many days that is. No, I haven't seen the movie Buried.
Do you know what it's about?
Nope. I haven't heard of that movie.
Damn it.
It's about someone being buried alive?
It is. Debating if...
Okay, I've seen that in movies.
Yeah, but this is like the whole movie.
In Kill Bill 2.
Like, this is the whole movie. It's 95 minutes of a dude in a coffin underground. And that's all you get.
Yeah. Again, my problem with that would be, why am I not watching Kill Bill 2?
I didn't catch
Kill Bill Volume 2. In Kill Bill Volume 2, she gets buried underground. It's like part of that movie. And it plays out like that issue of Spider-Man where Spider-Man gets buried underground, sort of, in certain ways. It reminds me of. Just another thing I like. Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yeah. I know, like this was...
And there's also a episode of CSI that Quentin Tarantino directed, where one of the characters gets buried underground in a glass coffin, and then it starts breaking and fire ants start leaking in.
Great. Great. Good stuff.
That's a nightmare scenario.
Yeah. I mean, that
And also, there's like a camera in there, so everyone else on the show gets to watch that happen to him.
Yeah. I mean, that, like, I don't know. I definitely know some people who can't watch anything like that. Like, it just, like, mild claustrophobia or whatever. Like, they're fine in elevators, but watching this is just no good. I almost would be that way, except I can, like, specifically being buried alive, like, when you die, if, like, it turns out you're not dead. It's easy, baby. Cremation. Thanks. Can't wake up if I'm a pile of ashes. Easy solution.
Yeah, who gets buried alive anymore? Or who gets buried at all? Buried dead. There's no room in the ground.
Yeah, see, one of my friends said he definitely wants to get, like, a plot at a cemetery, like, get buried in a, body in a coffin, because eventually we're not going to be able to do that, and he wants his spot while he can get it. Like, I guess.
Yeah, there really isn't room around here for that anymore.
Oh, dude, it's cramped. Cramped as shit.
Yeah, man, you go over into Queens, there's just these giant cemeteries. Like,
yeah.
Yep. No good.
It's been good.
But, I mean, I wouldn't even feel great about just getting a plot, because at some point someone could say, like, oh, no, you've had enough time. Dumping you out into a catacomb. Someone else could go here. You never know, man. Don't be too particular about what happens to your fucking rotting corpse.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I don't know. I'm glad about, I guess, like, both of these films that we watched, because, for me, it's like, I think horror and, like, anything within that realm, I guess even, like, thrillers to a certain extent, if it's not, like, an action thriller, like, I guess in a way you could classify something like John Wick, I suppose.
That's just an action movie.
Yeah. But it's thrilling. No, it's like my weakest point, just because, I don't know. I don't like to be scared. I like to be creeped out. And it's hard to find, like, but not too creeped out. Yeah.
I just want it just right. You're like the Goldilocks of consuming horror. I want to think
about it for a while, but I don't want to lose sleep over it.
All right. Well, I think we're going to have to call this podcast at this point.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody, in November.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Too soon?
I mean, if we wanted to be actually on point with doing a late Christmas movie, we could have done, or a late Halloween movie. We could have done Nightmare Before Christmas. Because honestly, that's a Thanksgiving movie, because that comes between Halloween and Christmas, clearly. But so it goes. Yeah. So, Salt Circle Podcast on, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com if you want to send us an email. At Soul Circle Pod on Twitter, and I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm on Twitter at Bean_LP. When's the last time you checked that email?
A while. I was just thinking about it.
We could have hundreds of emails, dude. Thousands.
Unlikely. But we could have one. It's possible.
I don't know, man. Like, that Godzilla bracket got pretty hot.
We'll see when I check.
Hell yeah.
All right. Just the eyeball with teeth.